everyone. We continue our program, and I give the word to Luke Rico, who will be the guest of tonight, and to the major.
Thank you very much. At first, you are warmly welcome in Štúrovo. I would like to introduce you Major of Štúrovo, Mr. Sabo. He will have a speech also to you. At the first, I would like a little bit introduce you where we were at the lunch. It was Hotel Thermal. It was a part of Vadash Thermal Resort, it is possible to say in this way. It is a very important tourist spot in Štúrovo. So this is a typical feature also for Štúrovo as a part of tourist city. Maybe I will continue after the speech of the major. Maybe I will present you also his words. So the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Ďakujem pekne. Vážení projekt partneri, milí hostia, priatelia, ako primátor mesta Štúrovo by som vás chcel privítať v našom meste. Presnejšie v našich mestách, v meste Štúrovo a Ostivom. Som nesmierne rád, že tieto dve mestá nie že iba dajú priestor na takéto nádherné podujatie, ako sú Dni Dunaja, ale že tieto mestá sú aj oficiálnymi partnermi projektu Danurb. Okrem toho som veľmi rád, že naši pracovníci a naše mestá sú spoluorganizátormi mnohých sprievodných podujatí. Projekt Danurb vieme všetci, že je európskym projektom a cieľom projektu je identifikovať, objavovať všetky tie hodnoty, ktoré sú okolo nás pozdĺž rieky Dunaj. Pekným podujatím projektu sú Dni Dunaja a práve 29. jún je tým dňom, ktorý bol označený za Medzinárodný deň Dunaja a tu sa na to teším, koľko nádherných podujatí uvidíme v rámci tohto programu. Chcem sa poďakovať predovšetkým tým, ktorí vymysleli tento projekt a ktorí naplnili takým fantastickým obsahom. Taktiež ďakujem manažmentu projektu, ktorý má veľmi ťažkú úlohu v takýchto podmienkách organizovať podujatia. A samozrejme chcem sa poďakovať všetkým spolupracovníkom, ktorí oddane pracujú na tom, aby jednotlivé eventy prebehli v poriadku. Cíťte sa dobre v našom meste, odneste si veľa pekných zážitkov a vráťte sa po určitej dobe. Tisztelt projektpartnerek, kedves jelenlévők, Párkányváros polgármestereként szeretnék mindenkit nagy szeretettel köszönteni. Vagy hogy helyesebben fogalmazok, szeretnék mindenkit városainkban, Párkányban és Esztergomban köszönteni. Örülök, hogy ez a két város nem csak egy helyszín egy rendezvénynek, de az a két város egyúttal projektpartnere a Danurb projektnek, és ezen belül részesen lehetünk különböző rendezvényeknek, illetve rendezhetünk különböző eseményeket. Ugye a Danurb projekt fő célja az, hogy felfedje azon értékeket, amelyek megtalálhatók a Duna mentén, a kultúra, a gasztronómia, építészet vagy bármi más területen. Ennek köszönhetően közel 40 partner állt össze, pontosan 7 országból. Én ugye a mai nap, június 29-e úgy van számon tartva, hogy ez a Nemzetközi Duna nap. Tehát ennek apropóján lett megrendezve ez az esemény itt Párkányban és Esztergomban, és nagyon örülök, hogy sok kreatív eseményt és programot fedezhetünk majd fel. Én szeretném megköszönni a projekt kiötlőinek, hogy ilyen nagyszerű tartalommal töltötték meg a projektet. Szeretném megköszönni a project managementnek, hogy bizony nem egyszerű körülmények között, de becsületesen szervezi a programokat, és kívánom azt, hogy mindenki jó hangulatban menjen haza, jól érezze itt magát, és mindenki természetesen visszavárunk bizonyos idő után. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome you here in Sturovo. I'm very glad that Sturovo, together with Esztergom, can host this fantastic event within the Danurb project. I wish you a pleasant stay, and I hope you will come back within some time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Major. And now it is the most important part of our meeting today. Our students from 5 universities will present their project. We work at the university, at the Faculty of Architecture, during 3 months on the project for Sturovo, but we thought still also about Esztergom. The same done the students from Budapest University, and we invite also the students from Vienna Technical University and also from the University of Belgrade and Novi Sad. We create 6 common groups of students, and they will present their ideas. So the floor is yours, the first group of students, please.
It's nice to meet you, some of them again and some of them for the first time. Now I would like to introduce you to all the members of the group. Bianca and Julia from Vienna, me and my colleague Nevena from Belgrade, Daniela and Peter, oh, terrible mistake, there was a Peter from Bratislava, and Nora and Zita from Budapest. I'm sorry, Peter. So, our main topic was, I think there was a, yes, our main topic were public spaces along the Danube River side. And to define the importance of that topic, we would like to say that if we observe the Danube like a line of connection, as we do, it's important to say that public spaces along its riverside are one of the most important ways and areas how the towns on the Danube can catch that flow or catch that connection. So something that seems like a local issue has actually a regional importance. Also, they define the relation between city and its citizens and the river, and the perception of the town from the water. So towns and regions we observed during the last semester. You already heard it, but it's how Sturovo, Esztergom, and Golovec. And the biggest differences between them are based on their location or position in the countries. So here we can see that Sturovo, Esztergom, and Golovec are on the border, and how is not. But what is really interesting is that there is a biggest difference between Sturovo and Esztergom and Golovec than between these two towns and how, because both Slovakia and Hungary are in European Union, so the border is softer or unexiting, and Romania is in the EU, Serbia is not yet, so the border is more strict. And it has influence on a lot of topics, also in public spaces on the river side. So after that, we define 3 common problems and solutions for those problems from every town. First problem is difficult access to the riverside, and we defined 2 types of that problem. First are line borders, like road or railway, and that is the case in Golovec, Esztergom and Storovo, and in Golovec and How, I'm sorry, and area borders, or line borders, like buildings, which is the case in Esztergom and Storovo. So next problem would be a problem with activities. So we again defined 3 different types. So if they don't exist, if they aren't appropriate, or if the existing ones aren't integrated in its environment on the right way. And I think we have a little bit of all in all towns, like more and less. And the third one is land distribution on the riverside. It's a lack of mixed-use zones, and it's a problem in Golovec. A lot of private agricultural fields, which is a problem in Baha Valley, and monofunctionality, which is a problem in Esztergom. So those are the solutions. Solutions for difficult access to riverside in Baha. This is a soft solution, like a guidance system. That is solution for Storovo, building removal. You can see before and after transformation, the situation before and after transformation. And this is opening roads, Storovo and Esztergom, also the solution for difficult access to river bank. And this is a solution from Storovo, and this is a harder one. And in Golovec, we had a different solution based on different financial occasions. So we had a softer one and a harder one based on that. So those are solutions for the problem with activities. This is Dürstadt in Wachau, and the beach is along the Danube River side, because colleagues observed that there are no dam. Solution for the same problem, but in Storovo. And this is the solution from Golovec, where we designed a new square on the riverside. So you can see the visualization of it. Activities on the riverbank on Storovo, and from Baha Valley. It's for land distribution. It's a little bit different because Baha Valley is a region, and our Golovec, Esztergom, and Storovo are cities. Towns, actually. So this is a solution for bigger scale of riverbank in Golovec, also the whole central zone where we transform the housing in mixed city center. So I try to be as quick as it's possible. Thank you very much.
The next team, please.
Hello everybody. We would like to show our project, our topic. Our topic was heritage, architectural heritage, and as the map shows, we were discussing these cities, and our project was we tried to catch the problems that Danube cities and towns got connected with the heritage and the culture that provides architecture. So we tried to ask answer the question that what is river in the meaning of the architecture heritage, and we think that the river from the historical ages attracted people for living and creating their settlement. And we try to find some problems that are common in all the cities and towns connected with Danube. And these are the problems. So the first one, topography. Next slide, please. We were working with the different scales. These scales were from the huge scale, like whole Danube. Then there was a regional scale, like Esztergom and Sturovo, local scale, like one town, one city, and micro scale was like architecture, like individual object. So our solutions, topography.
So this project is situated in Golubac and is meant to solve the Golubac problem of topography. So instead of going uphill, we decided to expand the city to the river, and this is actually the housing on water, and that way we also used the Golubac's biggest potential, that is Danube River.
So this is an example from Wachau. It's located in Spitz. Some of you know this municipality already. And we tried to make a concept to integrate new architecture in the existing structures, but not on a design level, but on so we looked at the heights and how to integrate the form of these buildings into the existing structure.
This is, I'm sorry, I don't have my voice. This is an example from Bačka Palanka, and now there is nothing, there is only wood, and we try to use all of potential of that of riverside, and that's our solution, and that's example.
This is Esztergom and Sturovo, and we designed a system which would consist of modular elements, and with these elements we could improve the connection of the towns and the Danube, and this could also be expanded to other towns in this region, so it would form a network between these towns.
So this is from Sturovo, and this is kind of a crazy idea to connect the city with the Danube through the flood protection. So we created these kinds of openings that allows people to connect with the Danube.
This is a this example is also from Esztergom and Sturovo. We tried to make this connection with site, and we designed a floating cinema there.
So this is again the example of Spitz, but for another problem. So there's often discontinuity in the settlement structure, and we tried with our project to dense the settlement structure that is already existing and not to build on land outside of the existing structures.
This solution is from Golubac. The riverfront of Golubac has potential, but it's not used in properly way. And in our project, we wanted to establish new activities and new objects, and in that way we can make some new attractions, and this area would be better used.
It is open space which was designed for selling home products in Šturovo.
This is again from Golubac, and it shows our concept where we try to use Golubac's geographical position and rough terrain, which led us to creating a new identity completely, and we decided to go for city of extremes. So we have three main subjects, which is city extreme sport, extreme gastronomy, and extreme living.
Again, the example of Schwitz. We didn't only made a concept how the guidelines should be for these new buildings. We also have here an example how this maybe could look in the future, and we created here new buildings for 80 to 100 new inhabitants, because in many regions young people go into bigger towns because they have no work in the region, or their prices are too high to live there, and so this is maybe an example of how we can deal with this problem.
It is a new living structure for young families near Danube.
This is an example of Bačka Palanka municipality, and what we try to do is connect all the cities on the riverside that have some cultural heritage, and to connect it with bicycle routes and pedestrian promenade.
In this picture you can see our vision of the revitalization of the neighborhood Dunaj in Šturovo, and this idea works with the meaning of the public, that modernistic architecture and the neighborhoods are not very good, so we tried to create somehow more habitable, more livable place for people, and to create a home.
So it was very interesting to see the other projects of the other student groups, so we could compare, and I think we found some similarities in all regions. And we think that one of the most important things, not only for architectural heritage, but for the whole project and for the whole regions, is that there are activities and events like days like these, the Danube Day, just to raise the awareness for the cultural and architectural heritage for the local inhabitants. So thank you for your attention.
The floor is open for the third students group.
So, we also welcome you. We dealt yesterday with the topic mobility and Danube areas. And in regions and cities, the Danube has an important role for the mobility, because Danube is both a connecting element and also a barrier. It connects countries and people, and it's also a waterway for transportation. And along the Danube we find different cities that are separated by the Danube and also by national borders or the EU border, or they are even grown together over the years. And we also find not only cities but rural regions like the Wachau. We find different topologies from narrow valleys to wide flat areas, and also different levels of connections across the river. Like here in the Wachau, we have a small river valley that's almost 40 kilometers long, and in the Wachau we found out some problems. The Danube is a barrier in the region because there are only bridges at the very ends of the valley, and the traffic flows along the river, sometimes, especially in summer, a little bit too much. And in the back areas, up the hills of the region, the public transport system is not very well developed, and therefore in the Wachau we worked on a regional scale on the mobility topic to improve the public transport system and reinstate the existing tourist train as a public transport. And yes, and we also worked not on a regional scale but on a community level to connect all these various kinds of transports, from bicycle to trains to bus lines, and also to the private cars. And yes, this is an example. Also in Spitz we tried as the Wachau group to show the whole ideas in very few points that you can see every idea at once. Yes, and there were also further project ideas like a cable car between two villages over the Danube, and in general the improvement for the last mile, so that it's more attractive to go by public transport.
I will talk about Sturovo and Esztergom. The situation is right here. So these two towns work a different way as in the Wachau region, because they are more separately. They don't create a chain along the Danube. The main approach to these cities from the land, from the countries, and it's kind of the end of the road. The train station is really far from the city center, and the same in Esztergom. But only there's one bridge, and there's not even a public transport. I think only this car train goes along this bridge. And if we skip one slide, here's two cities together, so it's not. So the mobility is not organized as a vertical axis along the Danube, but rather a horizontal one. And the city concept, as far as I know, is to make the cars from coming off the Esztergom bridge go through the city center, because the main tourist attraction is the basilica, but locals are mainly found in the city center a little further. And that's how they want to improve the city center too. And these are some, this is what, but we can skip that. Because I've been talking about it. And this is our project. We made a rehabilitation of the Sturovo factory, especially the chimney. And when we connected it to the city, we created a mobility, a kind of mobility along the Danube. But after that, we started to explore more areas there, and we wanted to connect it to the region, and found this railway track went going to the factory, and it's kind of abandoned, or I don't know exactly, but kind of unused. And on the other slide, we found this railway track, and also we wanted to think about our project, our rehabilitation, as a trigger which can make more abandoned industrial buildings transform and rehabilitate. And at first we couldn't find them, but after we had the idea that let's go along the railway tracks, and immediately we discovered that, because actually they are connected with the railway tracks. So that's an example how not only mobility can come after the plan and can connect the design we make, but the hidden hints of mobility can actually improve our design. And that was another project. Our classmates made these bicycle routes, and they made different type of routes. Some rather for the locals, and some rather for the visitors, and that's kind of balanced here. And another group were thinking about how can we make bicycling more attractive, and they made some examples. It can be used lightning when we are doing that.
So the next town is Golubets, and the main mobility problems that Golubets has are the main motorway that passes through the city center, and it forms like a silent wall, like a barrier that splits city into two halves. And the main problem with this motorway is that it has highly intense traffic. So you have a lot of trucks, buses, cars. You know, it's a road that connects Belgrade to eastern Serbia and Romanian border, and Bulgarian border. So that was one of the main problems. The next problem is the problem of unused or unseen river traffic. So, like in the other regions, it's a quite similar problem of river transport that has no connections with the other shore. So, so if we don't have some river transport or traffic, we don't have tourists, we don't have possibilities to go on the other side to see new things, to interconnect with other people. And one of the main problems is also unfinished bicycle track. That, I mean, I don't know, other cities may have problems with getting the bicycle tourism, but Golubets because of its geographical position, it looks like it brings people to see this. So by improving the bicycle infrastructure, it could bring a lot of new tourists, not just tourists, but maybe to socialize the population to use more bicycle and not just cars. So this is the main problem. So this is the motorway, and it's highly intense traffic without bicycle tracks. It looks like this, and it creates a pretty big problem. So, and this is some of the main conclusions that we got together. It's like a similar situation doesn't necessarily lead to the similar solution, because we have the similar problems like in Wachau and Golubac about this road that I've seen. So, but solutions cannot be the same because needs are not the same there in Golubac. So many problems may be solved on a community level, but most mobility problems require a solution on a regional scale and not just in community level. So.
Thank you very much. And now I would like to invite the fourth group. Please, the floor is yours.
Our topic was the economy of our regions on which we worked in our project. First, this is a map where we want to show where the locations of our projects are. The locations are Wachau, Šturovo, Bačka Palanka, and Golubac. Here we started with the current situation of almost from land use. The first slide is the Wachau region, where we can see that the most land use is wood and vineyards. So there are big natural potentials. Then this is Bačka Palanka. There are also the current situation of land use, where the vineyards are also the majority of the land. Here is Golubac. Here is a SWOT analysis of the current situation in Golubac, which includes agriculture and tourism and other activities on the bigger scale and the smaller scale. The next slide is Šturovo. Here is also the current situation where the group mapped the problems and the solutions. So it's like current situation and what is planned to do to be done in Šturovo.
Here we showed some problems that we found in each region, and we checked for every region what is the main problems, and then here we can see some ideas for solutions that can be implemented in each region. We found out that the main economic issues are connected with tourism and production for each region. So we can see here for tourism that the solution for building some
tourist locations for housing and for rent on the water. It's an example from Bačka Palanka, and here are some ideas like a picnic for a day, farm holidays, and things like that, which could be implemented in every region, in every municipality. So we focus on the solutions which we can implement in every project and every location. Here is another examples of other topics of tourism, like ecology. So because ecotourism is a potential in a lot of areas which we analyze. Also, the connection is an issue which matters for tourism. And here is another map of Golubac for what is planned.
Well, we can see there that how to use some potentials that are already there, how to improve them, and how to maximize what can be done in Golubac. Well,
there is a diagram where we show the different phases in that tree.
In project realize the project.
Realization. The next picture is Esztergom-Sturva Bridge, which is really important because it connects two cities, so they can function like one, and the mobility is based on that bridge. The next topic is production, where we also join some other economic topics in one. Here are another solutions from Esztergom, which is based on tourism and agriculture, combining that too. Also, sustainable energies are something that will be more and more used, so we have some solutions for that topic.
Here we can see a diagram that shows how to use agriculture, how to implement agriculture in every region, like economic
for
development of economy. I'm sorry. Here are some examples. We can see some supermarkets in different ways, like vendors, rolling supermarket, or
vendors because it can be moved all over the region. So not everything will be based in the centers, like in Golubac or like in Bačka Palanka, Krems, and Esztergom. It could be spread to another two villages across the municipality. And that's it. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. And now I would like to ask the fifth team, representatives of the fifth team, please.
All right, hello. So we're from the fifth team. As you can see, we had like quite a topic with a lot of fun, but at the same time, it's I think the most interesting topic when it comes to tourism and when, like in general, when it comes to expanding like the city's attractiveness. You can see here all the names that were working in this group. Yeah. So on this slide, we will start with such a sentence which says, "You only see the things everyone knows." As you can see on this picture. So okay, we can move. Why we use that is because we want to say that we focused on something which everybody sees, but at the same time there's like a lot of things behind that can be improved so that it can be better for the city and for the future of the tourism of the city along the river Danube, of course. So just a little bit more. Yeah, thanks. So as you can see on this slide, the main topic was wine and food. It is really important because especially both areas on the both sides of Danube are a cultivating area or land for wine production. Okay, now we can go. As you can see here, for example, these are the vineyards in Wachau, which are very similar to vineyards in other towns along Danube. This is actually an idea how to promote food and wine production in Wachau. But they took this like a reference from Danube in Vienna. On this slide here, you can see we're coming a little bit down, so this is Sturmo and Esztergom. Here you can see, for example, in our project, we saw this potential also in Sturmo because it has really good wine. So yeah, after this, I would also like to say that you should really have, you have the opportunity today to try it. So I really recommend it to you. As you can see there, it's like an area between Vadash and the Danube River, and it's actually an area where we can expand this agricultural land in vineyards and some wine houses and yeah, you can go. Yeah, some wine houses and some weekend houses. There are these dots that you see there actually are existing structures, existing houses where people actually go and cultivate their area. This is how it can look like. Welcome. In the same project, this is again the area above. Above is actually Vadash, and down is Danube, and this is the area which is actually trying to connect these two very important things for Šturovo. When it comes to culture, when like food and wine, etc., you can see from the left there is like a new forum or a new square. I think like most of the students thought the same way as I saw in the previous projects. Then there is like a open outdoor theater and the promenade which connects these two dots, and then it's like a museum of wine which can be like a vision of Šturovo in the future. As some of you may know, in Šturovo there is such event called Jarmok, or event where locals sell their foods, sell their productions, like wine, as I mentioned. So, for example, this can be in the next one. And for example, folklore as part of the culture can be presented in this new forum or this new square, like a new representative area for this event.
Okay, so this is a project my colleagues did at BME. It's about creating small day-long and week-long events which promote local restaurants, local people, and local shops. It creates an opportunity for them to show how they contribute to the very diverse and rich culture of their cities. Okay, so our job as architects, as town management, and as investors is to create the soil, the ground for these events to take place, and as controllers, as the controllers of this project, we can mark certain areas in the cities which in our thoughts need some improvements, like the riverbanks between the two cities, because they are underused, and to make people contribute to this, we have to give them certain rights, benefits, and yeah, I think it's also important to look at the current situation. We should first learn about this, change it, make it better, so in the future when we make bigger establishments, we can use this as a method of making them also better when we know what's already working and what's not.
All right, and in the end we would like to present two very interesting ideas that can be used for let's say, increase the awareness of not only the tourists but as well as the local people of what kind of food and drinks they produce. So, for example, the first one is a vision for all cities along the Danube. For example, to create such a web page. You can see here like only the design. Of course, since we're not we don't study ID, but of course we can have the help to do that. What is important is to make such an application where, for example, even local people or the tourists can download it in their phones, laptops, etc., and they can use it to track some restaurants, to track what kind of food they can taste there, what are the prices of those foods, and of course, for example, what kind of events are happening in the area, and like visit and buy and see. The next one is again vision for all cities along the Danube. Is actually something that was planned to be implemented in the How, along with UNESCO, since How is a UNESCO heritage area protected by UNESCO. So we also thought that it can be used in every city or every town, every area along Danube, and actually it comes to again raising the awareness. But right now, the students who live in those areas, to show the potential of the region, so that actually through different kinds of workshops, through different kinds of activities, visiting some local shops and producing factories, so they can see why this region is important and what kind of food or drinks this region can export. And yeah, this is like an example of how, for example, during this period, what kind of activities the students can do. That's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now I would like to invite six group representatives.
Hello, I would like to welcome you all once again. It is really nice to see you once again in Šturovo. So first of all, I would like to introduce my group of six in which I work in. So we have Patrick in the back, Balint, Ivana, Vanja, Katarina, and I'm Tamara. So our main focus was on ecology. Our main focus was on ecology, and when we started working, we came to a conclusion that none of us in our project really included ecology as the main focus. So we had a problem to do this presentation, and in the beginning we took every group would take a piece of paper and write down all the problems and solutions in their own projects. We had 4 countries included. We have Austria, Hungary, Slovakia, and Serbia, and 4 projects from those countries, and completely different way of coming to that project, so completely different methods of doing it. And when all of us wrote down our problems and solutions, we came to a conclusion that we don't have even common problems and common solutions. So here we can see first, the slide is about Wachau region. Here are written problems in Wachau. I won't present them all since this is not my project, but here you can see a key where we tried our best to show what are our common problems in all regions. So everything that is marked in blue are common problems in not all projects, but at least 2 projects. So common problem is Danube as a natural barrier, and aging of population. And depopulation and insufficient public transport system and extinction of historic town centers. So if it is blue, it means that at least 2 groups had the same problem. If the problem is marked in green, that means that that problem is connected to ecology. So as you can see, a really small number of projects were focused on ecology. And in the lower part, you can see solutions for the problems that we have faced in our projects. Once again, if they're marked in green, they're connected to ecology. If they're marked in blue, they're common to all projects. In solutions, we have only one solution that is connected to ecology. So our first conclusion is that in our projects we have to focus more on ecology. Nowadays it is really important to do that. So we can go further. The same thing about Esztergom. Next. The same thing about Šturovo. And I will not present only Golubac since we don't have time to. Next one. Since we don't have time to go through all of them. So in Golubac, we can see Golubac is also in the Danube, located in the Danube. And it is really interesting that in Golubac we can find the widest part of Danube. So we call it like Danube Sea, not Danube River, but Danube Sea. It is really nice in there. Maybe some of you will have an opportunity to see it. So in the Golubac's first problems, it would be better to see solutions first, but let's go through problems. We have insufficient connection of the contents inside the town. So this means that we have maybe, I can say, bad infrastructure right now. It is not really good connected. Lack of cultural buildings and cultural content. So the city is not really attractive for visitors right now. Devastation of public spaces. This is the only problem that is ecological right now that we have faced. Insufficient accommodation offerings. If we want to bring, our main focus was to bring more people to Golubac and to activate it. If we want to bring people to Golubac, we have to have accommodation in there, and right now we don't. So that is one big problem. Unrecognized and insufficiently used landmarks. There are landmarks in Golubac, but people don't treat them as landmarks. Lack of safety in some places, aging of populations, as we can see in all projects. Depopulation, insufficient quality of the urban design, and lack of restaurants, cafes, and fast foods. And this is a really interesting problem because even on waterfront in Golubac, which is a really nice place, you cannot really find a place to stay, a place to drink coffee or anything like that. So, concerning solutions, these are solutions that can be found in every project. So those solutions are from students' projects right now. And they are really answer to those problems that they face. So here are some of them. I don't want to read all of them in order not to be boring. So that was the first phase, because the first question was, the first task was to find the common problems and solutions. The second task was to try to implement those solutions to different scales, to see how those solutions would act in different scales. Since we didn't have common problems and solutions, we had to do that task in some other manner once again. So every group from every country would show one problem concerning ecology in the scale of street, in the scale of district, and in the scale of the city. So these are problems from Wachau. There we have unused waterfront places, landslides, and floods as main ecology problems that we have to face and somehow deal with them. And the second part is my favorite one because it can be useful for all other countries. Here we can see some solutions that already exist in those regions and in those countries, in the scale of street, in the scale of district, and in the scale of city or region, that can be used by other countries. Other countries can look up to those solutions that are good right now. So in Wachau region we have Motoric Park, water park, that is a project that exists right now. Nature protection zones, that is a really good example, and flood protection system, which is known to be a very, very good, example of flood protection. So next slide, this is about Esztergom. Once again, problems concerning ecology, lack of beans in the scale of street, lack of connection to Danube, and lack of flood protection. Here we can see that that is a common problem. No, that is a common problem with the next slide, not with the previous one. And in the lower part, those are once again good examples. Waste collection, developing waterfront, and building dams. Okay, next slide. This is about Šturovo. Problem is Danube as a natural barrier. Unused, destroy natural something. This was not done by me. Yes, please. Absence of recycled bins, and once again there are some solutions, and in the end we can see the same. Next slide. We can see the same thing for Golubac. So in Golubac we have a very big problem of lack of safety in some places, devastation of public spaces, insufficient connections, and those are the good examples. So our next step, which we didn't have time to complete, would be to compare all of them and to see how we can include those good examples. So if we would have time, we will finish it. So that's it.
Thank you very much for all presenters. There are a lot of inspirative ideas. I hope that the representatives of these two cities, Šturovo and Esztergom, will be inspired by them. Maybe I would like to say a few words how we work and how we appreciate this form of workshop. I have to say that at first we have idea to work together with these universities here in Sturovo to the topic which came from the local problem. For us, the most problems was the not good or not suitable connection between Sturovo and Esztergom via bridge Maria Valeria. But then, together with colleagues from Budapest University, we decided that our students will come with their project from their domestic universities, and that they will combine their ideas. They will focus to the important topics, important problems, not only for Sturovo, but for the whole Danube region, and then we'll bring the ideas from different cities, and they can enrich also these topics for Sturovo and Esztergom. And I guess that this approach was a good idea. I hope that you agree with me. Maybe do you like to say something?
Maybe some words. Thank you very much. And well, I want to congratulate to all students, and especially to you organizing. I don't know who was in the organizing team. It was a surprise for me. I know Viera and others from your faculty had to do this. It's much better than I expected. You know, like it's like I think it was really, really important, and we showed a lot of things in this student workshop and in this student semester works. We really showed how the Danube and working with Danube towns connect. I couldn't separate now. You know, we were talking about then our professors come here and we will talk about our methods. It's totally useless. Our methods are different and our results can be very, very similar or very, very much done for a same purpose, and that's the Danurb spirit. So it's really, really, really successful. And I think, I don't know, we might ask them, but I think that because of this way of working on Danube towns with the home universities, and then by your guidance making this it's one day workshop to put together this material, students learned a lot. Like it really concluded their semester works in a much more intelligent way than just to be in the portfolio at home and forget it. And for all of you, for project partners and those being here, you know, we had a lot of slides here and topics, and we remember some of the images, and now we will go on the walk and see these projects in full, printed in an open-air exhibition, and we can understand them. Oh, this is that project, and we will see the details. So it's very, very useful for us project partners as well, not just to see a lot of projects, too many of them. Of course, you are really many students, but now it's an interesting exploration of this project because we know what they want to tell us. So I really want to congratulate the students of all these universities, and I really want to congratulate to you to make this happen, that we found a new way to make international student work very effective. You know, like they met in Wachau some, and then now they met yesterday, and see, it's one story. So.
Especially thanks, I would like to say Regina Bala, Katarina Smatanova. They manage this workshop, and also the PhD students as a tutor of this one day but very fruitful workshop. Thank you very much.
I think it's time to go by